TVs are one of the only areas in tech where this keeps happening. Your phone costs more than it did 5 years ago. That's pretty obvious, right? Your computer costs a lot more. I mean, with memory prices rising, these just keep going up. The coffee that you drank this morning probably costs way more than it should. Everything costs more, right? It's just how it works. But televisions keep getting bigger, brighter, and cheaper at the same time. And I want to sit on that for a second because it actually changes the conversation about what a TV at this price is supposed to be. The 65-inch model that I have right here is $729 at the time of filming this. The 85 is $1,200. 100 inches of mini LED with a decent spec, you can get that under $2,300. That doesn't happen in many places in tech right now. And I feel like everybody shopping for a TV just tends to hit the same wall. The cheap ones honestly look kind of cheap if you go really cheap, and the budget ones, well, a lot of times they're more than you plan to spend. The U6SF Pro lives right in between that, it's in the gap there, and I don't think settling is the right word for it. So where does this TV fit? I'm just gonna give you guys a quick orientation because Hisense has a lot of TVs this year, and the naming doesn't exactly give you a clear picture. Above this TV is gonna be the U7. You're gonna get more brightness, up to 3,000 nits versus the measured 1,000 to 1,200 on the U6 Pro. You get 165 hertz instead of 144, 4 HDMI 2.1 ports instead of 2, but it does cost noticeably more. But I would have to say if your room gets a lot of light and brightness actually matters to you, if you're doing a lot of daytime viewing, the U7 is worth looking at here. And then above this one, you're gonna get into the RGB mini LED tier. And this is gonna be the UR8, the UR9, and that's a completely different price conversation, and it's a completely different tier of TVs altogether. These look really impressive so far, and they've been reviewing really well. And hopefully I'll have something in later this year so that you guys can check those out too. Below the 7 and the Pro that we have here is the standard U6SF. It's going to be the same operating system, also has the same built-in subwoofer, a lot of the same general build features, but the Pro that we're reviewing today is roughly twice as bright, has a better gaming spec, and it has that anti-glare screen treatment that the standard doesn't have. That last part matters more than a lot of people might think. A TV that looks great in a dark room but falls apart the moment you open the blinds, that's not really a good living room TV. The anti-glare coating is why this one actually works beyond just the light-controlled spaces. And the U6SF Pro that we're talking about today comes in a variety of sizes. You got 55, 65, 75, 85, and that 100-inch model. You can put a 100-inch mini LED TV in your living room right now for what used to buy you, I would say probably like a 65-inch mid-range set. That's just kind of where we're at with TVs right now. And I love every second of it. Getting into the picture quality, let's start with what most people will actually watch on this. Probably a lot of 4K HDR content, right? Through like streaming apps. Put on something with real visual texture, a nature doc, a movie with a lot of varied lighting, and it does look good. The blacks hold up adequately for this price point in the dark scenes. It's not OLED black, but it's respectable for sub $1,000. Color's punchy without it being cooked, and it stays readable when there's light in the room. For the price, it's more than you'd probably expect here. Obviously, this price point will have less processing power than its more expensive and higher up the chain siblings. This is going to show up specifically in the lower quality content. Native 4K, that's not really going to be a problem here. But you drop that down to the lower quality streaming or live cable, and the upscaling is going to have to do a bit more work. The textures are going to soften a bit, the image gets slightly less crisp. Nothing that ruins it. It's just kind of totally expected at this price point, but it is worth knowing before you buy it. Now on to motion, and I need to spend a minute here because this bothers me every single time. Out of the box, the clarity settings are just too aggressive. Watch any 24 FPS movie and you're gonna get that soap opera effect immediately. It kind of looks like a daytime drama shot on like a camcorder, and I just don't understand why any TV ships this way. So just go into the menu, find the motion or clarity enhancement, and set it to film or just turn it off altogether. It really just takes a minute to change this. I do this on every TV in my house, and honestly, I do it on my family members' TVs too. Every time I change it, they're always like, what? It actually looks so much better. They say this every single time. I can't be the only one out there switching these settings on family members' TVs, can I? Let me know if you're doing the same thing. Maybe we should bake this into part of Thanksgiving. You go visit your family, you have a meal, and you change their TV settings before you leave. And the reason I bring this up instead of just quietly fixing it, I mean, it only takes a minute to change it. It's just an example of getting to know your TV. The settings really do matter on these. Disable that motion smoothing, turn off the power saving mode that dims the picture. A lot of this can really change how your viewing experience is going to be. And this is not Hisense specific. It's not a Hisense problem. This is just a TV industry problem. They all ship this way. The good news is the controls are there to change it, and it just takes a minute and then it works out great. I do have to say though that sports mode is an entirely different story. When the content is actually sports, the motion processing does earn its place, and I'll let it stick around. The TV is going to detect it automatically, and it's going to sharpen motion, it's going to boost the contrast, it's going to punch up the color. Whether that's exactly what you're looking for or it's a little too much, that's going to depend on your tastes. But it's not a fake mode with just a sports label slapped on it. It's doing something real that can make fast-paced sports a better viewing experience. As for the gaming, I'm just going to touch on this quick. I'm not a huge gamer by any means, but every once in a while I will fire up the PS5 and play myself, or sometimes wife will play too. Or I'll play Switch 2 with the kids. I mean, you have to play Mario Kart every once in a while, right? This one has a native 144Hz panel, VRR and AMD FreeSync Premium, keeping things smooth with a PS5, an Xbox Series X, or a PC. The HDMI situation is two 2.1 and two 2.0 ports. So one console and a Blu-ray player, you're gonna be fine there. Two next-gen consoles plus a PC, then you're gonna be swapping cables or preferably running these through a dedicated surround receiver, and that's probably the route I would go there. Getting into the audio, it's 40 watts, it's a 2.1 setup, so you have that built-in subwoofer. Most TVs in this price range ship with a flat 2-channel setup that you don't really want to turn up past half volume, if that. This one doesn't quite feel like that. There is some bass that actually registers here. It's not theater based, it's not even soundbar based really, but you're not just skimming the high end of whatever's playing. Explosions are gonna have a little weight to them, and music has something underneath it. Are you gonna want a soundbar eventually if audio matters to you? Probably, and by probably I do mean yes, but the built-in system here means you're not reaching for a second remote on day one, which is more than most TVs at this price can say. But as this is an audio-focused channel, my suggestion is at the very least to shop a soundbar here, and preferably just get into a simple 2.1 setup if the budget allows. I might even spin off another video on this one just to see what we could pair up with this TV and come up with a really budget-friendly 2.1 setup that's gonna blow the doors off of, basically any soundbar out there. Let me know if that's something you guys are interested in as well. And I was thinking something along the lines of something that's good with video, but at the same time, not lose a lot of the audio features that a lot of the audiophiles are gonna look for when they just wanna listen to music. See if we could get a budget combination that would fill both these needs. Now onto the OS. This TV is gonna run the Amazon Fire TV platform, and I'll just be upfront about this. The majority of my house runs Google. Google TV is what I use for the most part, and if you put me in front of both and ask me to pick one, I'm probably gonna pick Google most of the time. That said, Fire TV really isn't a bad platform, and it's gotten a lot better. Amazon has pushed out some significant redesigns in 2026. You have a cleaner home screen, it's pretty fast navigation, there's less Prime Video shoved right in your face. All the major apps are there, and I don't think there's actually anything really missing. If you're already deep in the Amazon ecosystem, all this is gonna feel really natural. If you're not, you'll probably adjust to it in a week. It's a really simple OS. And if Google TV is a hard requirement for you, the U7 SG does have it. For most people though, this is probably gonna work just fine. I don't have the U7 in room right now, so I can't do a side-by-side. What I can tell you is what the spec sheet says and what that actually means practically. So 165 Hz on the U7 versus the 144 that we have here on the Pro model. The honest answer on that one, most people they're not really gonna feel the difference there. The jump from 60 to 120 is very obvious. 144 to 165 in real world viewing, you're just kind of splitting hairs there. The brightness gap though, that one is gonna be real. The U7 does go significantly higher there. If you have a very bright room with windows that get direct sunlight, I think this is going to matter to you. And the 2 HDMI 2.1 versus the 4, that's gonna come into play if you happen to have a lot of devices that you need to plug into this TV. So if these are things that actually fit your use case, the U7 might make more sense. So you're gonna wanna check this out and weigh what you actually need for needs and wants. Getting to the bottom line here, it's not a perfect TV, right? Coming from an OLED, the blacks are still gonna seem more of a dark gray, not a true inky black, and that gap is gonna be unavoidable here. The upscaling on lower quality content, it does a fair job, but it still has its limits, and you're still gonna need to consider what devices you plan to plug into this TV with the limited number of HDMI 2.1 ports available. But at the current price of $729, here's what you do get. You get native 144 Hz, real mini LED, anti-glare so it doesn't fall apart the moment you open up the blinds, A subwoofer that's small, mind you, but it does have some actual bass in it. HDR that looks genuinely good on 4K content. A sports mode that does something real. You know, I've had people sit down and look at this TV and they were actually really surprised that you could get this much for this price point. If you do want more brightness, more ports, more processing power, the U7 and the UR series, they're right there and they are worth the conversation. There's some really nice TVs in that lineup. But if this is the price point that you're actually shopping, I don't think you're gonna feel like you settled here. Let's talk about it down below. What are the main points you're looking for in a TV in 2026? Is it size on a budget, like a 100-inch model? Or are you looking for more of the new tech that some of the high-end sets are bringing? Really a lot of exciting things going on TVs lately. Please like and subscribe. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. So let's grow this community. Take care. Talk soon. Later.